What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of HRT. I hope your week was swell. Can't go that low. Swell. I hope your week was swell. Super excited for this episode. Our guest today is Liam. Liam had me crying laughing at least 5 times during this episode. He's a very funny lad. He is from Switzerland. So we got a lot of tea on what it's like to be trans in Switzerland. And, drum roll please, he's a merman. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's the dopest fucking thing I've ever heard. Every time I go swimming, I be pretending I'm a fucking mermaid, bro. So to talk to somebody who has experience in mermaiding, are you kidding me? Dopest episode I've ever recorded. We talked a lot about a lot of different things. You have to stay tuned and keep watching if you want to hear what else we talked about. I'm sweating my ass off per usual, so I'm gonna head out. But make sure you subscribe. Hit that fucking subscribe button, please. I'm begging you. I'm almost at 2K. Small number, but I'm still happy about it. So please help me get there. Hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at HRT Podcast. I post all the time. Join my Discord. It's always in the description below. Subscribe to my Patreon. Please subscribe to my Patreon. I have a lot of bonus content on there that you are missing out on. Follow me on Twitch. I go live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out After Dark. After Dark comes out every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After Dark is where I just sit there and react to things on the internet, trans things. So if you want to see me be stupid by myself, go watch some After Dark videos and subscribe to me on here. Please, please, please. I would greatly appreciate you. And that's about it. Let's go talk to Liam because he's the dopest fucking person I've ever met in my life. Okay, I love you all so much. Bye. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. Bye. Love you. All right, I'm going to start by asking you where you're from, Liam.
I am... It's a loaded question because I was born in Italy. I moved to the UK when I was like 3 months old. That's why I speak English. And then I moved to Switzerland. That's where I am now. First in the Italian part of Switzerland, and then to the French part of Switzerland, where I am now living.
Wow. Okay, so how long have you been in Switzerland?
Almost 20 years.
Wow, okay. Yeah. And how does Switzerland treat you as a trans person?
Honestly, Switzerland is very much kind of like mind your own business culturally. They're very much sort of like don't ask, don't tell. Depends also on the type of side of the country, because since like the linguistic areas are very divided also culturally. So you will have the French part of Switzerland that is very French adjacent, so you'll find people that are more like friendly or more like in your face. The Italian part even more so, and also the Italian part is the Catholic part, so they tend to be more conservative leaning, right? Whereas the German part is just like, no, you do not exist unless we have to interact in any way, shape, or form.
Overall, what would you say the trans rights are like over there?
They've actually been moving forward a lot in recent years. Like literally 2 years ago, there was a vote to change the procedure of getting your name your name and gender marker legally changed, which I did actually in 2022. Because it was more easier, because before you had to go like in front of a judge and be like defend your case and like why you wanted to do all the thing and like why you change birth certificate, psychiatrist diagnosis, everything. Whereas now all you have to do is go to the basically just like the population registry, be like, hey, I did my transition, can you change my name? And they'd be like, yeah, sure, sign here.
Okay, I love
yeah, you
that.
have to pay like 75 francs, but like compared to
Mhm.
everything, it's just literally going
Yeah.
there being like, change my name please, and that's it.
No, that's kind of dope because here in the United States, I mean, at least in New York, I had to stand in front of a judge and do the whole fucking thing, which
Yeah.
made no sense, dude. Like what what? I'm trying to be a dude. I don't what do you want from me?
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
remember having to stand up and I was so nervous. Looking back, I shouldn't have been nervous because it was fine. But like,
I mean, it's the setting that also is like feels
yeah,
so, I don't know. It's a
yeah.
lot.
Yep. It is a lot. How do the bathroom situation work over there with trans people?
That's the thing. A lot of places are slowly going to gender neutral. Like, for example, I commute a lot via train, right? And
Mhm.
trains are just gender neutral bathrooms. It's just like, there's a bathroom, use it, whatever.
Mhm.
There are some places like restaurants and stuff that also by law need to have separate bathrooms because they will not be like recognized as an establishment or something. But there
Right.
are some like small places that just have the one bathroom, so they're just like, we don't have money or space to make a separate gendered bathroom, so accidental accidental gender neutral.
I mean, it kind of sounds better than here, to be honest. The one part where I think the United States is like most focused on trans people is the bathroom law with like men entering women's spaces and shit like that. So
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't sound like it's that bad there.
that's the thing. I'm probably going to sound like I'm kissing Switzerland's buttocks a lot, but it's far from perfect. Obviously, like
Right.
like I actually saw last year that there was like a turf meetup in Geneva, and I was like, not here, no.
Yeah. I mean, no matter where you are, you're gonna have people like that. But
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
it's just you want to be in the place that has the least amount of that possible, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Like gender care overall for now, because the conservatives are in
Mhm.
power here as well. So it's like, fingers crossed.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
for
make sure you stock up.
yes,
Okay, so talking about home. Actually, wait, how old are you?
I'm 27, freshly 27.
27. Period. Oh my god, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Period. Of course. Now speaking of hormones, are you on injections? Clearly, I know you are, or hormones.
Yes, I am on testosterone injections, mostly because it is more practical for me. Because the way it works
Yeah.
in Switzerland, I don't think it is legal to do injections yourself, which that is something that I admire about trans men or like trans people in America that are just like literally self-made. Like that's as self-made as it gets.
No
Here,
deadass.
I'm just very much just like pulling my pants down, like, please poke me, and then go about my business. Because if I had to do that myself, I'd be like, no, never mind, I'm not trans. No, it was a good run, guys.
Not the fucking bending over. Please poke me. That's too fucking good.
I mean, it does kind of
Yeah,
feel like
dude.
that because, like, they literally have you like lay down on a little bed with just like your ass cheek poking out, and just like, okay, do the thing. That's it.
That's got to be a little emasculating.
It is. I mean, just generally, it's very awkward. Like the clinic where I go, thankfully, they're used to it, so they're just like,
Mhm.
whatever. They don't even try to do small talk.
That's
It's like,
funny,
how
though.
was your day? While I'm just injecting testosterone in your ass. It's like, no.
But it must be nice having somebody else to do it for you since you're very
Yeah,
much against doing it yourself.
yeah.
That must be cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's something that I admire of US trans men. I was just like, wow, you literally just like get the needle yourself and do it. Where I'm just like
Mhm.
a pillow princess in the process.
You crack me up, dude. That's so funny.
But yeah,
Wait, so
don't want to kill the
wait,
host.
it's illegal there?
That's bad
Hang
form.
on, wait, so it's It's illegal to they make it illegal for you to inject yourself.
Pretty much. It's just like it's so hard to get your own like meds, and they prefer monitoring stuff. Also because
Hmm.
there's a similar medical insurance system here in Switzerland where it's privatized, but instead of being tied to your job, it's like mandatory to live in Switzerland. And there's a huge market of like different medication stuff that is covered by insurance, so they want you to go through the medical system so that you pay up. But yeah, the main difference between the US is that it's not tied to your job.
No, that makes sense, I guess. So they keep all of your hormones, like you never actually have testosterone or anything? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
the only way is like via gel, which I did try, so don't try peddling gel to me. I've seen your podcast.
You know me so well.
I've seen you. I actually did try it for a month. It was fine, but to me, it's just the thing. I went back to injections just because I do injections every 3 months, so I literally have just like the appointment every 3 months, and then I just go about my life.
See, I would do the injections if it was like that. If I only had to do it every 3 months,
Yeah.
I would do it that way too. The gel, I understand. I mean, I love it, but I understand. Like, if you have the option of just doing it every 3 months where you don't ever have to really fucking think about it, then like, hell yeah. Fuck yeah, why not? Now wait, do you know if they inject you intramuscularly or sub-Q?
I think it's intramuscular because, boy howdy, sitting after an injection is painful.
Okay, slay. Intramuscular. I mean, hey, intramuscular is the toughest way to go. Even though you're not doing it yourself, it's still the toughest way to go. So props to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I actually switched to gel was because I started having like hip pains, which turns out they're chronic, so I'm permanently disabled. But the reason why I did a switch for a time being was because the last time I did the injection, when I started having these pains, it was grueling. I was like, this is unbearable. So I got to talk to the endocrinologist, being like, can we try gel to see if maybe that's the reason? Which weird, but never know. Better trial and error. And it wasn't the case. So in the end, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's just easier to go back to injections.
Yeah, you might as well. Are you still having that pain?
Yes. I'm
that sucks.
currently fighting to get my own wheelchair because now I have a rented one.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't be. I'm fine.
That's awful.
No, it's fine.
That sucks, though. Is it like, is it coming from the testosterone at all?
No, it turns out that I'm just she was broken when she got it. Literally, like
broken when she got it.
I've basically been finding out that my joints are kind of garbage, so it's just like, okay, well, this is just how I have to settle my life in. But it's to me, actually having a wheelchair, to me, it's like, oh my god, yes, I can walk again, I can go around again. It's giving me so much freedom to just go around instead of being like, oh my god, what do I need to go out today, but I don't have the energy. It's like, no, wheelchair.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I'm glad. You seem like you're a very glass half full kind of person.
Oh yes, I've been through too much shit to try and see the glass half empty side of things.
Okay, wait. So let's talk about surgeries. Have you gotten any? Do you want any in the future?
I have had two. The biggest ones, top surgery and the hysterectomy. The top surgery mostly tied to swimming because I didn't have like a huge chest, and it wasn't like in any way impacting my life. Other than when I started growing facial hair, I was like, okay, how do I go swimming? What do I wear? Because I still have clearly what are tits, but on the body of a guy. It's like, I don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation, or even just myself. It's like, do I wear a bikini? What do I wear? So I was like, you know what? Just get it over with. And
cut them off.
It was so funny because the top surgery itself went by so quickly. I went to this reconstructive surgeon in
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, did an amazing job. It's like did periareolar, so it's like around the nipple, like you don't see the scar at all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it in the like just a whole morning, and that was it. Like I got in at 8, and by midday they were like, "Okay, you can go home." So my
Mm-hmm.
brain actually didn't have time to process the thing. So like at the beginning of the healing process, I was like, "What's going on? What happened? What? Why am I in so much pain? Why did I do this?" And then
Yeah.
it slowly caught up, and now I'm just like, "Yeah, okay, it's great." Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a very similar experience with that. It was just a morning for me. I was back. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I had to drive like an hour and a half away. So I was back by like 3 p.m. It was like nothing. I mean, then I slept for hours and hours. But, something I've never talked about actually, because I forget the healing, maybe you can agree or whatever, but the healing process for my top surgery, I remember like once it like didn't hurt anymore and I was just like bruised because I think I got the same surgery as you. Mine, I don't know the difference between the peri whatever and keyhole, but I think they're around the same. I don't
It
fucking
should
know.
be the same, yeah.
Yeah. When I was just like bruised and I wasn't in that much pain anymore, I like got really depressed, like out of nowhere. And like, but it wasn't like like I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, I just got everything I've ever wanted. What the fuck? And I like did a quick Google search. Why am I so sad after top surgery? And it happens to a lot of people. Like, I guess I don't know. The main answer I saw was that like you've just lost a part of your body that you had been with for all of your life, and like that's your body trying to like process that. And I was like, whoa, that's deep.
Yeah,
Did that
totally.
ever happen to you or no?
Um, it was something that my therapist actually prepared me to, because my
Mhm.
therapist works with like people who go through gastric bypass, so people who lose a lot of weight very fast. And she was saying
Mhm.
like a lot of patients sort of like have this whiplash effect where they're just like, I don't recognize myself in the mirror because they're used to seeing a certain thing, and all of a sudden it's completely different. Like not all of a sudden, but like
Mhm.
fast enough that the brain doesn't have time to catch up. and
Mhm.
and that's the main thing that she was saying, like, give yourself time, the brain is going to act funny. And lo and behold,
Mhm.
it did.
No, yeah. It's like it's valid as hell. It's also like scary because then I remember being like, "Did I just make a huge fucking mistake?
Yeah.
Are all the transphobes right? What the fuck?"
I mean, it does
And
feel
then you
like it,
start to
yeah.
like actually realize that it's fine, but it does feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. I've never talked about that before because I forget that that happened to me. But I've heard from a lot of trans people that that's a thing that happens. You just randomly get depressed after chopping the giddies off.
Yeah, I feel like that's a side in general that is not very talked about, because I've had to have a lot of operations because I, again, she was broken when she bought it, right? Uh, so I sort of knew what I was getting into, but
Mhm.
generally the whole operation stress, right? Like when I was on the
Mhm.
operating table, I was just like, yeah, okay, cut me open. I've done this. I've done this before. Uh,
Right.
but in general, I feel like nobody prepares you for this kind of like anxiety, like all the lights and just like the fact that you have like all sorts of things hooked up to you, which like I know this is what I wanted, but it's still
Mhm.
like it's a lot, like it's very overstimulating for someone who hasn't done it
Right.
before. Like I have other trans friends who just had never had any other operation before top surgery, so they
Mhm.
were just like, oh, what the fuck,
Yeah.
how is this gonna go? And I'm like, don't worry, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I that was the first operation that the first surgery that
Oh
I
really?
had ever gone under too. And you see on TikTok, like everyone tries to prepare you for top surgery. Oh, make sure you buy this and this so you're comfortable, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I feel like that's not where we need help. I remember laying on that fucking table, like, right before they knocked me out with the IV in my arm, and I was like, "Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit." Like, I was convinced I wasn't gonna wake up. Why? I don't know. I was in perfect fucking health. But, like, that shit's scary, dude. Like, nobody really talks about that part.
Yeah, and I
You're
really
right.
feel like it should be talked about. I mean, in general, I feel like it's just an important part of the process of like on
Mm,
every side of the conversation, because I feel like a lot of people have this idea of the operation. Like, you take transphobes that are just like, oh, they're chopping kids' peoples off, because they have that idea of the surgery room, right? So they think like it's very medical,
mm,
it's very gruesome, whereas the sort of trans positive part is just like, yay, we're just like getting our bodies that we want, and it's like all awesome. It's like, no, like it's still
yeah.
very, like there's still a lot that goes into it. It's like, it's not
Mhm.
just flowers and rainbows. It's still kind of like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say body horror, but it's
Oh,
still like a
100%.
lot.
Well, to be honest, I watched my surgery. Like, I watched a
Oh,
video of my
cool.
surgeon performing the surgery on somebody else before I, like, went, and I was like, "Oh god, that's kind of terrifying. Why did I
Yeah.
do that?" But also, I was happy that I did it because, like, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. And, like, even when like, exactly what you're getting yourself into, it's still surgery and it's still scary. Like, everybody has those anxieties of, like, never waking up again.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
me.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's something
No,
so
it's
unnatural.
definitely
Like
fair.
the situation itself is just like
Right.
so out of anything that you would ever do on a day-to-day base. So like your brain is like, no, get me out of
Mhm.
here.
Right. Yeah. And, that's, like, an interesting point because I feel like, a lot of, I guess, transphobes would be the first to say that it's really unnatural and you're not meant to, and God intended you to be this way, blah, blah, blah. But just because it's unnatural doesn't mean that it's bad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, what does unnatural even mean if it makes me happy, you know?
Like literally all of our society is unnatural. Like, should we just like
Right.
And
Right.
on the other
Period.
side, it's like, oh, everything that's natural is good. Okay, cyanide is natural. Do you want to take cyanide? Go ahead, be my guest. It's all natural, you know?
Yeah, for real. No, that's a valid ass point. You you said you also got a hysterectomy?
Yes, I actually had it last year. So it's like, I'm literally, uh, today is the anniversary of my hysterectomy. Oh my God.
No way. Oh my
Yes
god.
way.
Congratulations. That's so cool.
Um,
Period. How was that?
you know, better than I expected. And it was so, again, I wanted to have a hysterectomy before I knew I was trans, because
Mm,
I was very much like, I don't want kids ever. Like, no.
mm.
But
Fair. Period.
at least in Switzerland and in the vast majority of Europe, it is straight up illegal to get a hysterectomy, or like for doctors to perform a hysterectomy on women before the age of 35. Because they're just like, oh, but what if you change your mind? It's like, oh, but like you want a kid. Like, just let me fucking decide my own body.
Oh,
This is what I mean.
I don't like that,
Yeah, this
Switzerland.
is what I mean. Like,
I don't
Switzerland is
like
not,
that.
is not perfect.
Dang, that's crazy. What the fuck?
Yeah, because I was talking
Why?
about it with my gynecologist, because they just push the idea of like, oh, but like we want natural Swiss born babies instead of like adoption. Oh, like they never think of adoption ever, ever. It's just like every
Oh,
time it's like, but what if
fuck
you
that.
want babies? And it's like, I hate my body. It's like the idea
Yeah.
of putting my body through something as grueling and like just energy consumption,
Mhm.
time consumption as a pregnancy. Please, no. And it's like that. I knew
Mhm.
that when I was 20, like 18 even.
Yeah.
And but they
Mhm.
were like, no, but like, what if you change your mind? What if you change your mind? It's like, oh, so they're like, no.
Do I dare ask about Switzerland's abortion laws then?
Um, you know,
Are they around the same?
no, thankfully, no.
Oh, good.
The
Okay. Whew.
abortion laws, and that's the thing, it's very secretive, but like you can just
Mm,
get like the pill at the chemist. You need to
mhm.
have like a prescription, but there are like emergency centers at like hospitals and stuff where you're just like, hey, I need this. uh
Yeah. Okay. Not horrible, but still not the best,
Yeah,
I see.
I think that Italy is going back on abortion laws because we have a great prime minister that is chummy with Trump. So you know the kind of person. First woman prime
Mhm.
minister, but at what cost? It's just like
Yeah, no,
the
deadass.
it's like the worst. So I'm glad I don't live in Italy, but I feel for my fellow Italian compatriots. It's not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. The thing about the hysterectomy thing, how they don't want women under 30 whatever to not get hysterectomies, but then let people get abortions sometimes is like that's confusing and counterintuitive. I feel like
Yeah,
I don't fully get that, but this is what I mean. Like they don't the government is in all aspects in every country is just like what? Why? What's the point? Who are you to even decide for another person? Why don't you have a kid? Why don't you give birth and you let me know how you liked it?
oh,
Woo! I could talk about that all day.
well, that's the thing. Like, either they don't have children or they do and they feel like it's just like the best thing ever. Oh, motherhood is the best thing because like all these people who peddle these kind of ideas are uber conservative. So they're just like, oh, motherhood
Mhm.
is what made me a woman, and every woman should go through this. It's like, what if other women don't want to? Like,
Yeah. Like if you're a woman who like you base your womanhood around your children, fine, like that's cool. I'm not going to judge you for that, but you can't say that's womanhood in general. Like you can't say that's what makes a woman a woman. Like hello.
yeah, no, exactly. Like, I mean, even just now with like the whole Paris Olympics thing of just like a lot of athletes stop having their period because like the body's going through like immense stress or just like they're optimized for
Mm,
the work that they do, right? Like they optimize for performance. So like, and they're
mhm,
fine. They're still women. They're still recognized as women. It's like we're not like
mhm.
women are
But
not.
because they don't get a period, they're not now.
Yeah,
Now they're
exactly.
trans.
Yeah, it's like you
uh
know every time that's just like, oh, but like every time you have to define womanhood, it's like, I know that you do the segment at the end of the podcast usually, but it's like it's
mhm,
infuriating when you have to try and reason because all the conservatives want to hear is just like a simple answer, like a woman has a vajayjay and men
mhm.
have pee pee. It's like, yeah, okay, that's
Right.
oversimplifying way too much. Like, biologically speaking, it's just like it's not even that simple. But that's a whole
No,
other
you're so right.
conversation for another time.
And that's why I do this segment at the end because,
Yeah,
like, everyone's always asking, "What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a woman?" Okay, why can't we ask cis men what does it mean to be a man? And
yeah.
I want an answer that doesn't include penis. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
yeah, exactly.
Like, uh, frustrates the shit out of me.
What about men with micro penis? It's like, who thinks about them?
Right, right. Hello, here we are. Just kidding. Cut that. Cut
No,
that. I'm just kidding.
it's staying in.
Oh god. Yeah, this is like the third time you've made me cry. I gotta chill. Uh, spill the tea with me, Liam. When did you come out as trans?
Oh my god, which time? Because there's more than once. You know that.
That's for most trans people. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I mean, I feel like in general, like even when I came out the first time as like pansexual, because I thought I was lesbian, but then I was like, no, I like Wanga still, so it's like I like everything. Um, but even then, like even when I came out as like pansexual, is very much as like, how do I come out to my classmates at the time because I was still in school? How do I come out to my parents? How do I actually come out to my dad first and then my mother? Because
Mhm,
yesterday I saw the episode with Chloe, and it was also
mhm.
she also had like the father being more supportive than the mother, and I was like, yep, me. And like
Oh, really?
you correctly said that like a lot of people expect the opposite because there's like this idea of like
Mhm,
the macho man that is like, oh, no, I like patriarchal values and all that. But my dad has always been
mhm.
just like the complete opposite. My mother is the one that upholds the
Period.
patriarchal values more than my dad. So my mother was very much a sort of I wouldn't say against everything. I mean, definitely against the transition, because she was like, "No, what are you doing?" And like very much,
Yeah.
very much going through grief, because she.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in general, when I started living alone and I started just having my own identity, shocker, I know, she was very much shocked by it, because she had always projected like her wants, or like her idea of the perfect child onto me, right? So when I started having my own
Yeah.
identity, she was like, "Ah, no, I don't know this. This is unfamiliar, and I don't like this."
Yeah. I hear you on that. My mom kind of did the same thing to me as well. The moms tend to lean more towards the grieving my daughter or son
Yeah,
kind of process, while their dads kind of just, I mean, most of the time, just get angry and confused and
yeah,
refuse to accept.
yeah.
But okay, so
Yeah.
how old were you when you officially came out as trans?
Um, I think I came out first to myself when I was 24, actually, because it's not that long ago. Because I
Oh, wow.
really had like a sit down for myself during quarantine. And you know what
Hmm.
started it all? It was a drag
What?
king event.
Okay, slay. That's so cool. I
Because
love that.
yeah, I actually went to this drag king event because my friend, I have a non-binary friend, that they were like, "Hey, I'm sort of having like gender questioning," and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna support you so much." And I've always loved like dressing up, cosplay, costumes. So to me, it was like, "Oh my god, another occasion to dress up! Awesome, sign me up."
Hmm.
Uh, I did not expect for that specific costume to be like, actually, this feels cozy. So
I feel warm in here.
yeah, I was like, I kind of like the beard. It like, it feel like it suits me. So that's
Fuck
that's
yeah.
that's kind of what happened at first, to myself, because I had to be like, oh my god, what is going on in my head? Why can't I stop thinking about this? And then
Hmm.
I think I came out to my dad first, because I was like, I need to talk about it to someone. And then I came out to
That's
my
cool.
now ex, because he was very much just like,
Hmm.
no, you're doing this for attention. And like, we were in a straight relationship at the time. So he was like, no, I'm straight. I'm like, no, this is no, not. And
Oh boy.
we haven't talked since. So kind of sad, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not judging him for, I guess, knowing what he wants, but
yeah.
I hope that, did he treat it with kindness at least?
No. No.
Well, fuck him then.
Because at first,
Fuck him. I don't give a shit then.
because at first I came out as gender fluid, because I was like, I'm just trying gender. I don't know.
Mm.
I'll try stuff. And I was very much pissed when he would use like she, her, and only she, her, because
Mm.
it was like, I'm comfortable with she, her. And I was like, yeah, but like, you have to use the pronouns that I'm comfortable, not the ones you are comfortable.
This isn't
That
about
defeats the
you.
purpose. Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
So so when
That's
that
dumb as hell.
yeah, when that started happening, I was like, I think we need to go our separate ways. And he was like, deal, do it. And so we
Well,
haven't
good for
spoken since.
you.
um
Good for you.
yeah.
You don't need that. You don't need that energy in your life. Fuck that. Mm-mm. You're a better man than him.
I
That's all
try my
I have to say
best.
about that. That's like super upsetting. That's super upsetting because the person you're dating, your person in life is supposed to be the one that's like wants to support you through everything. So no respect. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like, on one hand, I'm glad that he was like honest, that he was like, no, I don't like, I'm not into this. And like, there were other
Mhm.
problems, so it was like, that was kind of like the final straw, really.
Right. I
So
mean, hey, as I said, like no judgment for knowing what you want. You're allowed to
yeah.
have a preference. I say that all the time. I always stick by that. But I mean, I'm sure everyone's fucking tired of me saying it, but I'm gonna keep fucking saying it because I think it's really important. You're allowed to have your preference as long as you're fucking nice about it. You could say, "Hey, I can't be interested in you romantically anymore,
Yeah.
but I will support you from the sidelines for the rest of my life if you need me to."
Yeah.
Like that's all it fucking takes. All it takes. And like they're allowed to hurt. I'm not saying they're not allowed to hurt because they have to grieve a relationship too. They are losing somebody too. Like, and I get that. But like, oh my God, communication. Just be like, I'm hurt. I need my time, but I think this suits you. And if you're happy, then that's okay. Do you see how easily I said that? Like it's really so simple.
Yeah, exactly.
uh
Yeah, and like
I'm sorry that happened.
I mean, whatever. It's, like, I don't know. Like I said, I've been through so much shit that like now I'm just like, it wasn't meant to be
Yeah.
anyway.
Period.
And then I came out to my colleagues because at the time I was working for a 3D design company, and I was actually debating with my therapist on whether I should just start hormones and like gaslight them into thinking that like, no, I've always had a beard. What are you talking about? But she was like, no. I actually appreciate what she said because she was like, I thought like I don't owe anyone an explanation, and she was like, yes, but it's a sign of trust, and like it's a sign that you trust your colleagues with this information that is like very personal, right? So it's like very intimate, and the fact that you are just like laying yourself bare is a way for them to see like, look, I trust you, I know I can trust you with this information, so I value you by proxy. And I was like, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's like dope ass advice.
Yeah,
Like fuck yeah to your therapist. That's dope advice because like much of a bigger person than me, I'd be like, you don't know anybody shit. Fuck that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Start those hormones king. Like I clearly have things I need to work on, but no, that's solid advice. Did it go well with your colleagues?
it really did. I actually, because that's the thing, I had no idea how to do it because I hadn't started hormones yet, but I had the appointment to start the treatment. So I was like, okay, it's happening for real. But I didn't find any moment where I was just like, I'm gonna do the whole speech. Just like, no, I'd rather die. So I sent an email, just like very very business core.
Good. That's professional.
Yeah, I literally titled the email "New Year, New Me." Yeah, because I was like, you know what they say with the New Year's, new me. Haha, this is the new me. Hi.
Period. I love it. No, that's awesome. I love that the first person you came out to was your dad, though. I feel like most people feel more comfortable coming out to their friends or their partner, but I like how your dad was the first one you went to. How did that go? That situation go?
I mean, it was weird for me to say it out loud for the first time because, once like in your head, you're always just like, okay, this is the way it is. But like saying it out loud, I feel like is the thing that really makes it real because like you feel like there's a physical manifestation to the words. It's like, oh my God, this is the actual thing that's happening because I said it. It's not like in the head anymore. It's like real.
Becomes very scary.
Yeah, and I knew that my dad was gonna be just like, is there any way I can help you? Because that's always been his like his way of thinking, like through anything. It's always been just like, how can I help you? You are my child. Like, how can I help you? That's it. That's what is.
That's cute as fuck.
And I was like,
I love that.
Love it.
That's a good dad.
Yeah.
Period. How about your mom? So I heard you told your dad, your partner, your friend, your colleagues. Did you wait to tell your mom, or is your mom somewhere in there?
I told my mother before I told my colleagues, but it was very much. That's the thing. I have a twin sister. We're fraternal. We hate each other.
Got
it's
it.
like bad blood. But at the time when I was still questioning, my sister had gone through like a phase of like rejecting femininity. So I was like, I want to talk to you about it. Like, what's the common ground, right? And also for me to be like, is this that, or is it something else? Because my sister, well,
Right.
when we were teenagers, she was very much in a phase where she was like fully rejecting femininity, but also because like I feel like a lot of people in Italian culture or like Latin cultures generally have a time where like the identity of womanhood is thrust upon them, and they're just like, yeah, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, so they just like go complete opposite direction. And so like dress
Mm,
very butch, they have very butch, which is like it's fine. And
mhm,
that's totally allowed to be an expression, like trying to feel yourself, right?
mhm.
And
Right.
the thing that my sister didn't understand was that I was trying to communicate it to her, and but she only thought of that phase of like, then I'll grow out of it, which she did, but I didn't because I was
Mm.
trans. so,
Right.
so the fact that like she told my mother for me, so I didn't have choice in the matter. I was very much just like,
Mm.
I will tell mother when I'm ready. And my sister was like, how about I tell her now? And I was like, I'll kill you. But
Mm.
basically, I was very much like still trying to figure out what I wanted for my body. I was just like, I feel gender weirdness. I don't know. And my mother was like,
That's I understand. I mean, I don't know anything else that goes into it, obviously, but I understand why that would make somebody so upset. That's the biggest no-no in any trans person's life. You don't come out for somebody else. That's crazy. I'm sorry that that happened.
I mean, my sister has done like all sorts of worse things. So it's like that was another one of the things that, despite everything, I still tried to give her a shot after that, because I was like, you know what? She's changing, whatever. Now that she's married, she seems a different person. But I was incorrect.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm no longer talking to her. It's like, okay.
Well, good for you. Good for you. I mean, hey, you can only give so much, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like at the end of the day, yes, family is everything, but also it's not at the same time if you don't put in the love and the effort and the support, which I see that, you're a good person and you have boundaries, and that's the most important thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um Now when your mom found out that you were trans, what happened then with your mom?
My mother was very much confused, because also like she didn't really believe it, because obviously I hadn't started hormones yet. So she was just like, oh, this is just
Mm,
like whatever, something that my daughter will come back from. And she still sort of believes that. She still, like 3 years
mm,
later, like she still fully believes that maybe one day I'll see the light and be like, oh, I see the error of my ways, and go back to
oh,
the obedient daughter that she once had. It's like, yeah, okay, mother,
Jesus.
keep believing.
Even though you're fully bearded and flat chested? Are we kidding?
Yeah, yeah,
Are we joking?
and fully bearded and
uh,
loving it as well. It's not even just like, oh, I
yeah,
don't like this. It's like, no, I love myself now. It's like, why would I ever want to
right.
go back? uh
Yeah, and I mean, like, that would make me sad too. Like, if I was clearly like more happier, I am more happier this way, and like somebody was still like, no, go back to the way you were. Like, don't you want to see me be happy? Like, why would you ever wish that on somebody to reverse back to something they don't want to be? Like, that's upsetting.
yeah, I mean, my mother is very much like, she's very controlling, so she's very much the kind of thing, I think what's best for you, so you must follow what I say, regardless of what you
Mm.
want. Is like, I think that this is best for you. So the fact that I did not follow her recommendation is like, oh no, she's not living the life that I want her to. It's like, yeah, because I want
Right.
to live a different life.
Right. I mean, I feel like you're allowed to have that mentality about your child until they turn like 16, 17, and then you gotta unwind that a
Yeah.
bit, because like you didn't have a kid so that they could be a spitting image of you and you could control their every move. And if you had a kid for that reason, you had a kid for the wrong reasons. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying your mom had a kid for the wrong reasons, but like there are people out there that do. Like I feel like people really just want to have kids so they can control another human being, and that is such a fucked up thing to do that, like, I don't, it's just, and that makes me scared for the trans youth, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, it makes me scared
I
for
don't
youth
know.
in general.
Uh,
Like totally. It's just like
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like a lot of people don't really understand what goes into having a child. They like the baby phase, and then it's like, oh, the baby grows up. Uh-oh.
It's no longer a baby.
Yeah, like you see that with dogs and cats
Yeah.
as well. It's like, oh, a cute puppy. It's like, uh-oh, the puppy is now a dog, and you need to take care of the dog
Mhm.
that needs to go out. It's like the
Mhm.
child is a similar responsibility, if not more, and for longer. So it's
No, for real. For real. All right. I am uber fucking excited about our topic today. I'm gonna jump right in because I'm just too excited. So you took the survey, which I very much appreciate. Thank you for taking that. And in said survey, you mentioned something pretty fucking dope.
thank you.
You told me how you're a merman. Are we joking? That's the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard. Please tell me about it right now.
Oh my god, where do I start? Like literally, go ahead, please ask me anything. I don't know where to start.
How long? How long have you been into being a merman?
Oh, being into since I could not swim. because
Could not swim.
because I literally learned how to swim when I was 12 because I was terrified of water. And I still am. Like I'm terrified of drowning. But now
That's
I
valid.
know how to swim, like I know how to navigate uh in a swimming pool, and like I know how to, but I literally did not know how to stay afloat for like the longest time, and I still struggle with like treading water because like I don't have natural buoyancy. So I learned
Mm.
how to dive before I learned how to swim, and that then led me in
Mm.
2018 to discover on the internet that there was a community of mermaid enjoyers. So like they enjoy the art which I drew, uh, of mermaid mythical creatures
Mm.
and stuff. And then I saw people in
Fuck yeah.
mermaid tails, and I was like, oh my god, where can I get this? And they sent me all the links, and I was like, buy instantly. So
That's so cool.
when I started living alone in 2018, I was like, I can do what I want. I can get a mermaid tail, and I did. And that's
Mhm.
when the journey began, and it's still continuing.
Fuck yeah. So, like, do you do it with other people? Do you do it in your lonesome? Do you have your own pool where you do it?
I wish I had my own pool. I'm not that kind of rich. But I do both. Like I swim with people and I swim alone. Most of the time, I swim alone because there's a really cool local pool that is indoors and gender neutral. Like the changing rooms are not gender separated because they're just like whatever, just go change. Um,
Mhm.
so another win because at the time, again, when I was like having gender trouble, I was like, which bathrooms do I use? I don't have to worry because it's just like one changing room for everyone. Uh, but
Period.
yeah, this swimming pool is just like I asked them, look, can I use the mermaid tail? They're like, yeah, okay, as long as you don't bother the other swimmers. I was like, yeah, I'll be careful. But for example,
Fuck
there's a
yeah.
group of merfolk in the French part of Switzerland that I'm in, and in 2 weeks we're performing by the lake in the huge tank.
Fuck yeah, dude. Are you kidding? I want to come. The fuck? That's so cool, dude. Every time I'm swimming, I'm pretending I'm a merman. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm like so into this. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
Maybe I'll convince you to buy a mermaid tail.
I might.
Do
Honestly, you
it.
were saying how you just like found it and just bought it. I was like, see, this is what adulting means. Like this
Exactly.
is we can use our adult money to buy these things, and I fucking love that. I think it's the best thing ever.
Especially if you live in the US, it's not even that expensive because I have to pay for shipping, you
True.
know.
That's true. I have it easier. You're right. I should buy one right now. um, how has would you say mermaiding? Is
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
correct
it is correct.
language?
Yeah.
Okay. How has mermaiding helped your transition at all? Do you think?
I don't know if it helped. my transition, but it definitely cemented the idea that I feel like a dude. Like, I'm doing
Okay.
something that still makes me feel very masculine. Like, I don't feel like a woman ever. So it's very much.
Round of applause.
Thank you, thank you.
I love that. Now, you mentioned that in the survey. I think your words, I think I wrote it down. You said, your hobbies stayed the same after transitioning despite the very gendered perception of them, which is a huge topic, I feel like. I mean, being a mermaid, merman has always been a very like feminine thing in society. And I mean, seeing you do it and hearing you say that you have never felt more masculine in your life, I think is huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I actually had an interview about mermaiding by the local television through like the contacts of the mermaid group, and the interviewers were sort of focused on the trans aspects. It's like, oh, like when did you do that? And I was like, and at mid interview, I said, look, I don't want this to be about me being trans. I want this to be about me as a person enjoying this hobby. That's it. It doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
gendered.
Period. Because being trans has nothing to do with it at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
even
No.
like,
Why do hobbies have to be gendered at all to begin with?
yeah, exactly. That's my argument, and that's the thing that ended up staying in the interview, because I was like, because one of the questions was like, oh, do you get like weird looks? And I was like, you're going to get weird looks anyway, just because it's something unusual. Like, you're wearing a fucking mermaid tail, so like it's colorful and it's like it looks like a fish in the water. So like obviously people are going to be like, what's going on? But other than
Right.
that, it's just like, are you having fun? Yes. Are you hurting anyone? No. So just go nuts. Like, do it.
Mm-hmm. Period. Go nutty. I love that. I mean, even if you were a cis woman in the pool with a bunch of people, you would still get looked at because it's
Yeah,
something out
exactly.
of the ordinary that you don't see every day. But that doesn't it doesn't mean anything. You're having fun. Fuck it. I think it's fucking dope, and I know there's a lot of people out there who also think it's fucking dope. So exactly how you said, if you're not hurting anybody, you're not blah blah blah. Do it. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? Um, what was I going to ask you? Oh, so throughout, your mermanning experience, did you ever feel any sort of dysphoria when it came to that, or no?
It's funny you mention it. Like, the only dysphoria I felt was around my chest, but mostly because I was starting to feel like I didn't know how to dress and like what to wear, like what was appropriate.
Mm,
So
mm,
I realized that the vast majority of people did not care. Because again, like, I went to the pool and there would, like, maybe some people would like get into small talk, but like the amount of times I have gotten into small talk at the pool, like I can count them on one hand. Because like maybe you find like the
mm.
old woman is like, oh, I thought there was a fish in the pool, just like to joke. But like, other than that, everyone is there to swim, so they don't care.
Hmm.
uh it
Yeah.
was mostly just me being like, oh my god, what am I doing? Am I a man? What tits? So that was the moment where I felt more dysphoria than ever, because I never really felt dysphoric about my chest before. It was very much just like, it's there.
Mm,
I felt indifferent more than
yeah.
dysphoric. But then I was like, no, this
Right.
is affecting me and my ability to swim. So that's why I was like, let's get
Hmm.
it done and over with.
Period. And people say it all the time, but if you're doing something out of the ordinary, but you do it with confidence, nobody's gonna bat a fucking eye. And like maybe they bat a little eye, but you're so confident about it and you're so happy that they get intimidated themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
That's what I try to remember every time I fucking I don't know, stand in line at a grocery store and I'm in my head like everyone's fucking looking at me. I'm like, oh my god, just sit up straight and look like you own the place, and it works every time.
Yeah,
Fake it till you make it. That's what I
exactly.
say.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I asked you to send me pics of you mermanning it up, and I love them. You look sick as fuck. They will
Thank
be
you.
on screen. Anyone who is just listening to the podcast right now, get your ass on YouTube and look at these fucking pictures because they're dope as hell. Um, I also want to ask you one more question about it. About like hobbies and how they're gendered and stuff in general? Did you like, since you seemed aware of the fact that mermaiding was very like feminine and you were aware of it, did you have like any other hobbies that you felt were more feminine but decided to keep them as your hobbies anyway?
Um, that's the thing. I feel like there's such different cultural perception based on who you ask, because the only real hobby that I still practice like a lot is drawing. But that's the thing there, like, and
Mm,
like I feel like the themes and the style are the thing that make it gendered, because I
true.
feel like a lot of the time you see male artists draw like pinup, or like I
Mhm.
feel like you can clock the style. And it's actually a game that I did with my my ex, who is also a trans man. We were very much just like, that's a cis man. We just from the style. Or
I
also
love
the
that.
themes. It was just like, oh, those lines are so cis man. So, um, but I don't think I did. Like, the only thing that was really more gendered, but because also just like I compared it a lot to ballet, just because of its like very flourish movement style, and also like living in a fantasy. I feel like it's very like anything that is sort of childish is usually associated to womanhood, just because like a woman is like so gentle and just like very infantilized overall. So
Mm,
even like costume stuff, it's like skews female. But like I know mermen in my life, like there's many mermen, not maybe as many as
mhm.
women, but again, it's like this sort of like the battle of like being frowned upon because of like patriarchal values, uh like internalized patriarchy, that you're just like, oh, I can't do that because I'm a guy, and people are gonna aggress me. And then you realize that it's like
Right.
nobody gives a shit. But it depends also where you are, because
Yeah.
I feel like if I did that, i I feel like if I tried to do that, for example, even just like in the Italian part of Switzerland that is more conservative and more like patriarchal, I would not be treated as cutesy as I was when I was a girl, you know? Like before, like I could chat up the lifeguard that he was like, oh, sure, you can swim in the pool, even though you're not allowed to dive. Just like, I'll keep an eye on you and whatever. Now I'm just like, I can't do
Mhm.
just like the pretty privilege. They're just like, you're a guy, basically just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just trying to swim,
Yep.
man. I'm not doing anything crazy. But they would be just like, oh, I'm allowing this gayness to happen in the pool. So it's like, I don't want to do that.
Right. That's so fucked up on so many levels. Like there's like deep rooted misogyny, deep rooted transphobia, deep rooted like almost like pedophilia in there. Like
Yeah.
it's gross because like you're right. Women are treated like they're children because of what you said, and that's disgusting. And I don't know. It's weird because as trans men, like we lose that. I don't want to say privilege because it's not a privilege,
Yeah.
but like we get treated differently.
Yeah. To connect to what you were saying, I saw a good video essay by a foreign man in a foreign land. Shout out. But he was talking about, I think it was like a benevolent misogyny, where there's the kind of thing of like, it's chivalry, right? But you're still
Mhm,
infantilizing a woman, right? Because the whole idea behind it,
mhm,
it's like, oh, you're being chivalrous because a woman is weak, and so I'm being polite, instead of being like,
mhm.
I'm just going to hold the door for everyone because everybody deserves to be like, just being polite to everyone. Um,
Yep.
and it
No,
like you see it in
100%.
every facet of life, of just like women not being able to decide for their own reproductive rights. It's just like, because they're considered too weak and feeble and hormonal to make their own decisions, right?
Yep. And like you it's being a trans man can be so confusing because you still have all of those issues as a trans man. Like, you know what I mean? Like they still think we can't make our own decisions. We're confused. They treat us like children all of the time. But we also like to the face, like when we're facing society, we still are like, we look like cis men. Therefore, we get privilege in that sense. But then when they know we're trans, all of that privilege is taken away. It's really just so fun out here.
It really is.
It's really such a good time. No, it's messed up 100%. But I absolutely love that you are mermaning it up in such a confident and just a fun way. Like I could see you love to do it and you don't care what anybody thinks. And like I wish that wasn't like a thing that I had. Like I wish I didn't feel like I have to say it's something that you don't care what anybody thinks. It should just be something you do, and people should be, hell yeah, that's so cool. Tell me more about it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I mean, I feel like
I don't know, but I think it's really dope.
I feel a lot of it boils down to like my specific circumstances, right? Because I'm incredibly lucky to be part of a community that supports me. Like I have good friends in the mermaid community, right? I live alone. That does so much. Just like even just like having my own space to express myself how I want to, and just like feel safe at home. And even just a thing of like, I don't work in a very public environment. I'm a teacher, right? So and it's like a private lesson type of thing. So it's like it's very one-on-one students. So I don't really interact with like a huge class that could like potentially go against me, or even just like I don't work with colleagues who could go against me, right? And also I live in a very like in a relatively left-leaning part of the country, because if I lived on the other side of the country, it would be very different. So it's like a confluence of circumstances that make it very lucky for me to be this way.
100%. Yeah. I have a couple more questions for you.
Go ahead.
So do you happen to have a trans song of the week?
I do. One of my favorite songs, like trans, it's not necessarily like a trans song, but it speaks to transness, and also like the sort of like grief of feeling my body betray me in some ways. The song is "Body" by Mother.
I've heard of Mother. Period.
Dude, please check them out. They're so good. I saw
100%.
I saw them live a couple of months ago, and it was just like awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Period. Thank you for sharing that with me. I have a Spotify playlist with every single song from every single guest that is given one. Is always from now on will be in the description below for anybody who wants to check it out. Liam's song will be in there if you want to listen to it. And yeah, that will always be in the description below. There's some dope ass fucking songs in there. And who doesn't like a relatable song? Come on now. Liam, where can people follow you and support you?
Well, that's the thing. I have a separate account for my mermaiding thing. It's Finn_SwissMer. You can probably show it in the editing.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, for my art and stuff, I'm hyperactive paranoid everywhere, pretty much.
Period. Those will be on screen and in the description below. Please go give Liam a follow on both of his accounts. This was an amazing episode, Liam, and I want everyone to support you and your art and your mermaning because I think it's oh so fucking cool. And make sure you follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. I post all the time. Obviously.
That's what we're here for.
Come on now. Yeah, make sure you follow me and please join my Discord. Subscribe to my Patreon. You're missing out on so much bonus content if you are not subscribed. And follow me on Twitch because I go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And subscribe to me here on YouTube. I really, really, really would appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button.
Do all the YouTube
I'd appreciate it. And yeah, do all the YouTube things. I fucking hate when YouTubers do that shit, but like, I understand now that you kind of have to.
I mean, sometimes it literally is just like the thing of like dinging the bells, like, hey, remember to do this.
Yep. Hey, look at this. I'll wait. They do that I'll fucking wait thing. Yeah. Shut up.
I mean, it works. The statistics
it does
show
work
that
sometimes.
It's annoying, but it
It
works.
does. Hopefully that conversation made you subscribe. All right, y'all. Liam, thank you so much for being on this episode. This was so much fun.
My pleasure. It was fun to talk to you.
Hell yeah. I will see you guys next week. Bye.